a change of pace today. Instead of doing AFV, we're going to have a look at the Hobby Boss Russian Navy Typhoon class SSBN, made famous by the movie The Hunt for Red October. This is a 1/350th scale kit. It comes in at 491.5 millimeters, so a bit shy of about 20 inches. So it is an absolute beast. Gonna move the box art, even though it's very attractive and I like looking at it. We're gonna move that and have a look at what we actually get in the box. Okay, so first thing we get a nice color sheet. It does have a crease down the middle of it. I apologize for that, that's just the way it came out of the box when I got it. But it is in full color. Nothing's really unreadable because of the crease which goes down the center line here. You can still see where things are supposed to go. And we do have down here call outs for the Mr. Hobby, Vallejo, Model Master, Tamiya and Humbrol colors. There are actually only 5 colors that are used on this: flat black, hull red, gold, flat white and silver. So shouldn't need to outlay too much money to get those together if you don't have them stashed. Instructions, again, crease down the middle, but it's a nice stapled booklet. Everything's very clear. You do have a call out here telling you exactly what you get in the box, but we're going to look at all the frames. We'll look at most of the frames and see what we get. We do get the novelty of having movable bow planes. They don't look too hard to put together. You put a plate in, you put the 2 bow planes in so that they latch together, then you put another plate over the top, obviously not gluing the pivot points, and they should work quite nicely if you want to have them open or closed. I believe the reason they were retractable was for operation in the Arctic. If they did need to bust through the ice, they could do that without breaking them off. Lower hull, we've got some stabilizing fins and bits and pieces. I'm not as good with submarines as I am with tanks and armored vehicles, so I'm going to guess they're for stabilization and sonar and things like that. Then we've got missiles and missile tubes. Got 4 frames to make those up. We have the option of using the plastic screws or photo etch screws. So my liking for the option that some of the Dragon kits and the Academy T-34s have, where you have the option for the photo etch on the back deck. So you can try it, and if you screw it up, it feels safe. Then we got adding the missile tubes to the lower hull and fitting together the stern planes, the screws, and attaching the upper and lower hull. We've got the rudder. It's a 3-piece set. I can't tell if it's movable. I don't see any reason looking at this why it wouldn't be, because you glue the 2 outer halves together and then there's like a pin for the actual rudder to sit in. So theoretically you could have that posed if you were doing a diorama or anything like that. I believe these are also sonar pods that go on the fins at the back as well as rudder. Then what have we got here? These are the doors for the missile tubes, 4 pieces to make up each one, and there's 20, so that's going to be about 80 of your parts right there. We have the conning tower. Don't know if it's still called that. I think that's what it was in World War II though. And then we've got various radar and periscopes, sensory technology. This is photo etch for whatever this antenna is here. I didn't see a plastic option looking at the kit, but it's 2 bits that go together. I'm sure that it won't be too complex. Then a couple of they look like hatches that go on the top there, and the option to have your missile doors open or closed, and a nice 4-piece stand. So, got the instructions out of the way, they look good. The printing is black and white as you saw, but every line on it that I've seen is nice and crisp and clear, so shouldn't be too many problems. And even just judging off what the pictures look like, then you should be able to kind of figure out where you're going. So this is the lower hull. I told you it was huge. This is about my arm's length away from my body at this point to fit in the camera, but we're going to bring it in close at the back here so that we can see some of the details. It does come with this card attached. I've left it on because I intend on putting this back in the box and hanging on to it. Not going to build it just yet. I've got too many unfinished kits. The plastic towards the end here looks quite thin. It's kind of translucent, but should be okay. Then we've got the checker pattern for the anti-reflective coating to try and minimize the return sonar signature coming back from the boat, as well as there's a curved grooved line right here. I don't know how well it's showing up, but that's to know where to mount the item that goes in there, the sort of the stabilizing fin, I think I called it, as well as a nice smooth area here to mount the other bit, and it's the same on the other side. There's an open section here, no clue really why it's open, but it is. Then on the inside, we've got some very deep looking wells for you to mount your missile tubes in, so there should be, I'm going to say no issue getting those to be nice and square and sitting upright. Of course, if you have the hatches closed, you won't see it, so depends how you want to do your kit. Then we've got the upper hull, again with the checker pattern, these parts towards the end of the tail fin, still looking very thin and translucent. But overall, it looks okay. There's no flash that I can see. The mounts for the doors look okay. They look kind of thin in places where the punch to get out the mold has been. It looks a little thin, so maybe it was knocked out a bit early, but they look sturdy enough, and once you got the hatches in, I don't imagine it'll be an issue, and I think they might even sit right on top of the tubes as well. Then big holes here for the furred dive planes. These squares along here aren't for mounting things, that's just part of the detail that was on the boat. Interestingly, it's not a ship, it's a boat. Ships lean outward when you turn, boats lean inward. So a submarine is correctly known as a boat, as opposed to being a ship. And we've got photo etch fret. As promised, we do have the 2 screws, as well as the 2 parts that make up the radar. The top one there does have notches in it, so you can slide the bottom one in and get it without too much of an issue. It does look very delicate though, so it might require a little bit of care, but if that's the only photo etch, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. And if you do mess it up, then that mask just happens to be down when you put it all together. Hobby Boss have got their own homebrew decals. We've got the radiation markers here, as well as some markers for what I believe are the escape trunks, and then some water depth markers so that you can see how it's sitting in the water, if it's nose heavy, tail heavy, if it's got a lean on it or anything like that. But they look okay. They're nice and sharp with the lines, and the paper is pretty flexible, not too stiff or anything like that. It does come, you know, taped like this, but I had to cut it so that we could have a look. All right, the actual frames now, the sprues. We have our conning tower at the back here with the checker print moulding with the 2 screws which have the appropriate curve on them. This is the bottom plate, and then the top for the conning tower, so you can have things either open or closed. This is the furred dive planes. They do have a few extra nubs that are going to need cleaned off, but most of it you're not going to see because it's going to be to the inside, and then masts and things like that. So everything looks good though. Nothing looks like it's got a mold seam or any flashing or anything like that. This is the first Hobby Boss kit I've had. A little bit of extra casting was here. It just came off in my fingers. I'm not sure if it came off the part or off the frame though. But yeah, I mean, all the mold lines and what we would call deficiencies all seem to be on the actual frame itself rather than on the parts, which is good, because I'm noticing like these bits up here, there's like extra molded and stuff like that, but we ain't using them on the kit, so why do we care? Here we have the stand, 4 pieces, it's dead straightforward. All the ejector pin marks seem to be towards the inward side. There's a gap here to, you know, paint or print your own information. You suppose you could use the bottom part of the decal sheet there if you were to paint it white or something to make that up. But nothing to look at there. And then this is the big sprue. There's 4 of these. We're only going to look at one because we only really need 2. We've got the hatches for the top. They do have some bits that need cleaned up that I can see straight away. 3 to each one, as well as the missile tubes and the missiles themselves, the ICBMs, as well as, I believe this is a rudder part, and then these go underneath the submarine towards the back. And then this is the interior hatch. So there's an interior hatch and an exterior hatch for each of the missile bays. But there we have it. That's literally all that's in the box. So we've had a look. Everything looks good. I mean, it's a $40 kit, I believe. I think I got it as an eBay special or Amazon. I've had it sitting for quite a while. But everything looks nice. Everything's nice and clean. There's no flash. It's just a question of how well it's actually engineered. Guess we'll have to build it at some point and find out. Definitely, if you want to know anything more about it, do feel free to drop me a comment and I'll dig the box out and have another look at it. But in the meantime, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye.